Although Netflix's latest martial arts dark comedy hit The Brother-Son is not based on a true story, a particular event inspired co-creator Byron Wu to come up with the idea for the show. The show is Netflix's second most viewed series of 2024, only after Fool Me Once, with almost 7 million views. Additionally, The Brother-Son has been certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, with an 84% score from critics and an impressive 93% score from the audience at the time of this writing. The show's brilliance lies in its ability to create amazing action sequences packed with violence while successfully adding a heartfelt comedy angle that reflects upon gang culture and familial ties. The show follows the story of Bruce Sun, a college student living in Los Angeles, whose life is turned upside down when he gets a visit from his estranged brother, Charles, and learns his entire family is the most powerful triad gang in Taiwan. The sibling's mother, portrayed by Michelle Yeoh in The Brother-Son, has tried to hide the truth from Bruce for many years. Still, an attempt to kill their father, the leader of the Jade Dragons, forces Charles, a lethal assassin and heir apparent, to travel to America and protect his mother and brother. Bruce, who is no gangster material, reluctantly adapts to his new reality while trying to maintain his humanity. Although the plot is entirely fictional, one particular event inspired the tone and premise of the show. The Brother-Son inspiration explained. Bruce holds up a gun in The Brother-Son. As co-creator Byron Wu told Salon in a recent interview, a very curious story inspired him to develop the story around which The Brother-Son revolves. Even though Wu grew up watching movies about gangsters, the idea to make a show about Asian gang culture was triggered after watching an interview with Japanese director Juzo Itami. Itami was a comedy director who had made a movie that poked fun at the Japanese crime syndicate, the Yakuza. After the film was released, Itami returned to his apartment only to find two Yakuza members who beat him up, cut his face, and demanded he never make fun of the Yakuza again. On the surface, that's a horrifying story, but Wu found the darkly hilarious undercurrent in the scenario. What particularly caught Wu's attention about this story was how insecure these gang members were. For an organization of gangsters that pride themselves on their violent lifestyle, the men were so insecure that they had to go and scare a movie director over the way their gang was portrayed in a comedy movie. It was for this reason that he thought of making a show revolving around the triad gang culture in a humorous tone that could skewer the hypermasculinity among Asian and American Asian men. How The Brother-Son upends the hypermasculinity of gang culture. Charles, Justin Chen, and Bruce, Sam Lee, holding each other in The Brother-Son. The Brother-Son focuses on this issue of hypermasculinity and how it creates generational trauma and traps men, and certain women in the triads, in a cycle of violence through the contrast between the siblings' personalities. Bruce and Charles respond to two very clear and opposite Asian stereotypes, and the way the show allows the writers to play with that contrast allows it to smartly and thoughtfully comment on Asian men's culture. Even though there are other shows and movies like The Brother-Son, what sets it apart is the fact that these stereotypes are torn apart once the show goes deeper into the motivations and complexity of the characters.